So we are reading At the Dark End of the Street, Black Women, Race, and Resistance, A New History of the Civil Rights Movement from Rosa Parks to the Rise of Black Power by Danielle McGuire. And our sessions it started June 3rd and they last until July 29th. They are from 6:30 to 8.
This is Farah Tanis. I'm so happy to introduce.
Greetings, everybody.
The Executive Director of Black Women's Blueprint.
Greetings.
And we've been trying to get her here.
I know. I'm so glad to be here.
So she is here. So Farah, what I really, I want you to say a few words about Black Women's Blueprint. I was just saying to the group that I'm so honored to know this group of people because we're on chapter 7 now.
Wow.
Of a very difficult, violent book to read.
Yes.
And they have hung in there. At one point I thought we might have worn Randie out because Randie was just like, oh, I don't know if I can take it. But it's a hard book.
It is.
And and so this is why people don't want to know the history.
That's
because
right.
it's painful. So Farah has built an amazing healing community here in Brooklyn. And so I want her to talk a little bit about Black Women's Blueprint because really I think all these people should be members.
Absolutely.
But then Farah also read the book. She read it before we even started the group. And so this is going to be her only opportunity. I want you to also
To meet you all. I can't hear, but I can see the faces, and there's so much being communicated through the faces. Thank you for welcoming me. Thank you for welcoming me, Michelle. And I'm glad to have this opportunity to talk about Black Women's Blueprint. We're a national Black feminist organization. We started, not like this with a lot of technology, but we started by meeting in our living rooms, our backyards, around kitchen tables, much like a lot of the Black feminist organizations and groups that our older sisters, our older feminist sisters started. And, we started to look at the state of Black women in the United States. And we started to look at, the national discourse around racial justice, right? And what was happening, what was being prioritized. And, there was a lot of political things happening at that time, mainly, Obama and Clinton and the Democratic primaries and their conversations around creating a blueprint for, healthcare, for America, for American family, and so on and so forth. And we realized, as there's this Black brother and this white woman, a white sister, talking about their blueprint and each offering their blueprint, one thing that was missing out of that conversation was us. And this was happening in the broader context of, a political commentary and just this question, this national and even international question to Black women in America: are you voting your race or your gender? As if we could separate the two, right? And that is really at the center of Black feminism, right? The intersectionality, that you can't really separate your race from your gender and your sexuality and other identities that just make up who you are. And that to be fully human, you have to acknowledge all of those things, and all of those things have to be acknowledged, and you have to fight all of the oppressions. And so that is really the beginning, the seeds of Black women's blueprint. And ever since then, we've been doing work in the community that is very steeped not only in the Black feminist ideology, but also in practice, but it's also been steeped in human rights. And so I think more than ever, the language of human rights, not as it's been created here in the US or when the UN was founded in the 1940s, but really how we practiced it as indigenous people, as people from the African continent. Human rights is not a new concept just because it was, it was codified here in the US and, with all of these power nations, but Black people, indigenous people have been practicing treating each other as human beings for centuries. So really, it's something that's ours. It belongs to us. So Black Women's Blueprint itself practices healing. We practice prevention of violence. We practice the empowerment of women and girls in various ways, whether that be through economic justice, solidarity economy, through community organizing. We also practice advocacy, advocating on behalf of each other, truth-telling. We tell our stories. We tell our narratives, because when you infuse society and you infuse community with your own narrative, it shifts the current narrative that exists right now around Black folks and around women and around Black women. So we do a number of things, and all of those things, the underpinnings is the Black feminist theory, Black feminist practice, Black feminist history, and human rights history, and human rights as we practice it today. So, and mainly we do it through our Truth Commission. So all of this encompasses the Truth Commission. In this room where we're sitting right now is our museum, which is another way of us telling our story. Behind me is a picture of Rosa Parks and Recy Taylor. That's the book, that's the subject of the book. So this is how we tell the story. For people who won't read the book, then we're gonna put a picture of Rosa Parks, we're gonna put a picture of Recy Taylor, and we're gonna tell the story in that way. And you're gonna come in and you're gonna look at the images, and we get the opportunity to talk about what it meant for Rosa Parks to do the work that she did, and how we're inspired, and how all of us mobilizing and should be inspired in the same way. As far as the book is concerned, when I first read At the Dark End of the Street, my first thought was, Bell Hooks has talked about this issue of the exploitation of Black women's bodies and the issue of the thingification of Black women's bodies and sexuality, the framing of Black female sexuality. Bell Hooks has talked about it. Patricia Hill Collins has talked about it. Sexual politics. Guy Sheftall and Janetta B. Cole have talked about it in Gender Talk, the fight for gender equality in African American communities. Gloria T. Hall talks about it in Aren't I a Woman, which was sort of another, spin or another just historical account. It sort of follows in the tradition of Bell Hooks' book, Ain't I a Woman? And they speak the same truth that Danielle McGuire speaks, but there's no credit that I could see in the book given to these feminist sisters and foremothers who've talked about what Black women have endured at the hands of white America during the Jim Crow era. And there was no credit. There was not even any reference to a consultation with a lot of these women. And to me, that really struck me. about the writing of the book, and I almost felt offended. In fact, yes, I was offended. And I really wondered about that, and I said, for people who, because of Danielle McGuire's white privilege, will pick up a book written by a white woman, for whatever reason, maybe because of curiosity, will pick up her book and then feel like, oh wow, look, this white woman is telling our story. A lot of people don't realize that these are stories that have been told. They've already been told. They don't know.
She says she is rewriting
Yes.
civil rights history.
Exactly. And that is inaccurate. So, I don't know how everyone else, felt about the book, because, it does give, some great historical accounts. But that was very voyeuristic. It sort of invites us. There's a way in the style of the writing that she doesn't come off as a historian, and she doesn't even come off as a feminist. She really, or a womanist, or someone who's an anti-racist. She really, even though she talks about race and talks about race in a way that a lot of white people won't and haven't. I think that was something that was missing from the book. But I do want to give her credit for her ability to hold all of that information and to gain access to it.
This started out as her dissertation, so she rewrote it.
Yeah.
For general consumption. Right.
Some of it was a little bit sensationalist, but it was an extremely, the access that she had to that information is something that community needed to have access to. And so in that sense, I am glad that the book exists and the information has been invaluable.
Let me have everybody introduce yourself and tell us where you are. Maybe say a word or so about how you're feeling about the book. Let's start with Randie. She's moderating tonight.
Hi, Farah.
Hi, Randie.
Nice to have you. Finally here. So I am moderating tonight. Everybody knows I'm moderating from Atlanta. My initial thoughts on the book, I told Michelle when we first started that I hadn't ever heard of this book before or this history. Michelle Farah, can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, because your video was frozen. I wasn't sure. But I told Michelle that I hadn't heard of the history before. I never knew that Rosa Parks investigated rape. I never knew that she advocated for women. The only history I knew about her was that she had sparked the bus boycott. That was it. And even that was, as I found out through reading the book, was not the whole story. So in that sense, I am thankful for the book, and I do understand what you feel about it, Farah. But I do like how much research she did do, because at the back of the book she has all her sources, so we can go and we can do our own analysis and look. And I do appreciate that she did at least provide the sources she.
Yes.
So that's my overall thought of the book.
Vanita?
Yes.
Are you awake? Who are you? And where are you?
I'm listening and thinking about how I felt about the book. Not much. I've read many books. They give a somewhat historical account of what has happened to not just black women, but as black people as a whole. And I think she did the best she could with what she had, but no one could ever tell a story like us anyway. So that was never my expectation. I took it for what it was worth. And we all have different values on different things. And I'm not one to put a high value on too much. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
And it's informative for those that aren't aware, you know. So in that sense, it's a good thing. But you know, no one can ever tell a story like a black author. No one can ever tell a story like we can. So that wasn't my expectation. And it's so nice to see you, and so nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you all too. I saw some of the videos, and you know, it's really nice to meet you.
This is Vanita Goins Walker. She's up in Connecticut.
Oh,
And Vanita is my oldest friend. We've been friends since junior high.
oh wow.
And I've been here for a while now. It's a very different place. I was born and raised in Philadelphia a lot of my life, most of it actually. And then I moved to New Jersey. But yeah, I'm in Connecticut, and it is a very different place. It's not New York, not Philadelphia. It's not any place that I've ever known, actually. But you know, the trees are nice. No, you know, nice trees. You know, flowers aesthetically, it's cool. And that's why Michelle and I talk to each other so I can have some food for my soul. Yes.
All right, we're being brief tonight.
I'm done.
Georgette, who are you?
Okay. Hi, how are you?
Good. Thank you.
Good. I'm Georgette Moses. I'm coming to you from down here in Columbia, South Carolina. And I am one of those damn Yankees, okay? I'm originally from New Jersey. But,
Oh, no.
But I just want to say that after you describe the work of your organization, I just think that's really beautiful. And I don't know, but I wish we had something down here like that, because I believe it's really needed. But to keep it brief, my first impressions of the book, well, when I joined the book group, I had to re-look at the title of the book and really try to absorb, okay, what am I getting myself into, and what are these facts, you know, that the author is getting ready to expose? How is that going to affect how I feel about my world and my past? But on a positive note, what it did do was inspire me to go look for testimonies of women of color, to get other perspectives rather than just, you know, and the book is not really clinical, but, you know, and I like your word, sensationalist. There's a lot of that in here too. But I think this was a good book to open the door to further exploration. Absolutely.
Where are you, Joe?
It's nice to meet you.
Can you hear us?
Can you hear us, Joe?
In Charleston, South Carolina.
Oh, Farah, I heard you have an Essence interview.
Yes, I did. It was
Oh, I didn't hear that.
yeah, we had an Essence interview, and you know what we focused on was the issue of economic security, as I talked about earlier, and just talking about the relationship between violence and economic security, and just really the ability that we have to support each other through economic solidarity. So a barter network, a people's bank, whatever it is that we can offer to each other, whether that is clothing in exchange for a service, or time, or carpooling in exchange for meals throughout the weekend, or babysitting. I mean, these are ways that we can build community and we can build trust amongst each other, and it's ways that we can save money. So we do it very informally here, but we do it. A lot of us barter space for, oils that people make, or herbal tinctures that people make, or, so that's what the interview was about. They're very interested in that because poverty is really kicking our butts, and we are sick and tired of being sick and tired, and we need to figure out ways to support each other and to help each other even when we don't, I mean, we don't all have a lot, but what we do have, if we can offer it, I think that can create a whole new type of community and a whole new way of relating to each other. So that's what the interview was about.